This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and it's my goal here on the podcast to introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. Our title sponsor for this episode is Bringing Local Back. Remember when your community could turn to a local TV station or newspaper for the latest updates and affordable ads? Those days may be fading, but the need for local connection remains. That's why we created Bringing Local Back, a game-changing platform that restores local visibility and advertising power to your community. It's more than just tech. It's about driving engagement and creating new revenue for your chamber. Ready to see the future? Visit bringinglocalback.com to schedule your demo today. This is the future of local commerce. You're joining us for a special episode in our 2025 ACCE Chamber of the Year Finalist Series. And our guest for this episode is Zeb Welborn. Zeb is the president of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce in California and also the founder of Welborn Social Media. He's passionate about empowering local businesses and driving community development through initiatives like Upskill Chino Valley. Named the 2023 Executive of the Year by WACE, Zeb brings award-winning leadership and strong focus on connection, innovation, and service to the chamber world. The Chino Valley Chamber was also a 2024 Chamber of the Year finalist, so we're excited to have Zeb back with us today here on Chamber Chat Podcast. But Zeb, I wanted to give you a chance to say hello to everyone listening and, as usual, share something interesting about yourself so we can all get to know you a little better.
Hi, everybody. My name is Zeb Welborn. I am president and CEO of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce, so thank you for the great introduction. Something interesting about myself recently, because we did this last time. I don't remember what I said last time, but let's see. I do play soccer every Sunday. So I play adult league soccer. So I'm playing against 18-year-olds upwards every Sunday. I do a lot of golfing. So I wrote a book it's called The Social Golf Course, about how to do social media marketing for golf courses. And I do get a chance to play golf at least once a month or so.
That's cool. The book is that's something new for sure. And even the soccer, it takes a lot to keep up physically, as you get on with years past that 18-year mark. I mean, you're only like 21, so it's only been a couple of years. So yeah. But anyway, first of all, congratulations to you and your team being selected as a Chamber of the Year finalist again. Definitely showing you guys are making an impact in the community. Tell us a little bit about the Chino Valley Chamber, just to give us an idea of size, staff, scope of work, budget, just to set the stage for our conversation.
Yeah, we have about 400 members here at the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. So we are a population of about 200,000. So we cover two cities. We cover Chino and Chino Hills, located in Southern California. Our budget is about $1.2 million. We have 8 staff members. When I started, our budget was significantly less than that, and we had 3 part-time people. I was also part-time, so we've grown a lot. I took over. I'm coming up on my 7-year anniversary, so I took up about 7 years ago, so we've grown a lot. It's been a lot of fun, very rewarding, and we've made it a good impact for our local businesses here in the Chino Valley.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds like a lot of growth, going from 3 part-time to 8 staff now, and growth in the budget as well. So hopefully we can hear about how some of that happened as we touch on the programs today in our discussion. So typically with these Chamber of the Year episodes, what I like to do is focus on the 2 programs that were submitted on your Chamber of the Year application, and do a deep dive into the details of them and share with us what's been working for you guys there at the Chino Valley Chamber. And we'll dive into that as soon as we get back from this quick break.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rose.
And we're the founders of App My Community, a mobile app that can be customized to meet the unique needs of your Chamber of Commerce.
When we started App My Community, we envisioned a tool that would help communities thrive by simplifying communication and enhancing engagement. Chambers of Commerce face unique challenges, and we're here to help you tackle them.
At My Community helps the Evergreen Area Chamber of Commerce to create an app that keeps tourists informed even when their office is closed. They provide 24/7 access to local business information, which helps support the local economy and community engagement.
In Rocky Mountain House, we helped the Rocky Chamber create an app with dynamic itineraries and digital resources for tourists, increasing local business engagement. The app has become an essential tool for the community, promoting events and boosting visibility for local merchants.
Today, we empower more than 200 chambers of commerce, campgrounds, and RV resorts to streamline communication, informing members about events, sharing business updates, and providing a digital hub for the community, all in one convenient app.
When you partner with At My Community, our team works closely with you to create an app that meets your chamber's unique needs. As your community grows, our app evolves with you. We are here to ensure you engage effectively with your members and streamline your operations.
Schedule a demo today at atmycommunity.com.
We can't wait to meet you.
Are you ready to take your organization's funding to the next level? Hi, I'm Clint Neesmith, CEO of Resource Development Group. As a Chamber of Commerce or Economic Development Organization leader, I know you understand the value of working with experts who understand your world. And that's exactly what RDG does best. For over 30 years, RDG has specialized in fundraising for EDOs and chambers. We bring cutting-edge strategies tailored to your organization, whether you're just starting out or gearing up for yet another new funding cycle. Importantly, our firm executives are hands-on from start to finish, from the feasibility study to the successful conclusion of your fundraising campaign, and our team brings deep industry roots and national expertise to every engagement. No matter the size of your community, RDG delivers data-driven, innovative revenue solutions, reinforcing ROI to investors and making sure your vision becomes reality. At RDG, we proudly build organizations that build communities. Visit us today at rdgfundraising.com and let us partner with you, building a stronger future for your organization and the community you are working to grow and develop.
Hey, Chamber execs. Are you juggling ribbon cuttings, grant deadlines, membership renewals, and a rogue newsletter that just won't format? That's where Econ DevOps comes in. We're a virtual assistant agency built exclusively for chambers and EDOs. From social media to CRM cleanup, event planning to inbox management, we handle the behind-the-scenes work so you can focus on impact. And here's the best part. We don't just assign a random virtual assistant. We match you with someone who fits your workflow, your communication style, even your level of type A. Visit econdevops.com or email us at hello@econdevops.com and finally cross hire help off your to-do list. Econ DevOps, helping community champions make a bigger impact.
All right, Zeb, we're back. As I mentioned before the break, we're gonna dive into the two programs you guys submitted on your Chamber of the Year application. As I understand, I mentioned in the bio too, Upscale Chino Valley is one of those programs. Do you want to spend a few minutes telling us what that's about? You know, what the program is, the impact, the need that you guys are filling in the community, and just kind of go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So sorry, I cut out for a second there. You're talking about Upscale Chino Valley?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So that is one that we did also submit last year. It came about out of COVID. So during COVID, obviously, we did a lot to support our local businesses. That was kind of recognized by a lot of different folks. And so when COVID hit and shortly thereafter, what we started to realize was there was help wanted signs everywhere in our community. So every single building had a help wanted sign, and we were trying to help solve that issue for our local businesses. So we implemented this thing that we call Upscale Chino Valley, which is kind of 4 different things. So it's leadership development, it's entrepreneurship development, it's economic development, it's workforce development. So we created an idea, these different programs that we would implement in those 4 categories that would help move the needle for our businesses to try to help solve that workforce shortage. Because at the same time that was going on, where we were identifying that there was those issues, we were also attending U.S. Chamber-led courses that were just kind of talking about the challenges that workforce would be that our businesses will be facing when it comes to their workforce for the foreseeable future. And so our thought was, well, let's try to solve that for our region. And that's the way that in collaboration with my board members, that we came up with those 4 different things that we identified. And each one of those 4 things, we identified programs that fit into those categories that we could execute on as a chamber as long as we had the resources to do so. So that's what we pitched. We presented it to a bunch of our legislators. Our county supervisor, Kurt Hagman, gave us some funds to help support that effort. And then our state legislators also gave us some funds to help support that effort. And so that really allowed us to start pursuing this work. So we've been doing it for about 3 years now, going on year 4 of our we're coming into our end of the 3-year term. So we're going into our 4th, and we've done a lot of really positive things. We've checked out the economic impact of like the work that this has done, and it's substantial. So it's something that we're really excited about and proud of that we were able to implement here in Chino and Chino Hills.
So is Upscale Chino Valley, is it a program that people apply to be a part of, or do you guys address a need in the community and you go target it, or how's the format set up?
Yeah, so it's those 4 things. So really it was like capacity building, right? So we wanted to do a leadership program. Our community never had a leadership program, so we developed and implemented a leadership program. We developed and implemented what we call a roundtable program. So we were doing 2 roundtables a month. So we're bringing in businesses from different sectors or different challenges and discussing those needs of those businesses. We were doing entrepreneurial training, so we were doing at least 1 a week. So we were doing an entrepreneurial workshop at least once every other week. And then on the workforce front, we've placed over 500 people in local jobs over the last couple of years. And we do that in a variety of different ways, but I'll say that it's mostly through job fairs, but there's a whole bunch of other things that we do on that front, like one-on-one placements and stuff like that. So that was kind of the gist of what our Upscale Chino Valley program was or is.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you seen it evolve at all from when you first started as you address more of the needs that are, pertinent to the community? Obviously, coming out of COVID, things looked a little different than they do today. There's a lot of similarities still, but it is a different landscape. What have you seen as far as where you needed to make some adjustments and evolve the program?
Yeah, I think when we started, we were really ambitious about the scope and scale of all of the work that we were doing. So we were, like I mentioned, 1 a week for the entrepreneurship stuff, once a month for the roundtables, the job fairs. We do once every other month. We'd have a lot of different programs in a bunch of different areas. So that created a lot of logistical challenges to execute. Also, like the amount of time our members or their committee was willing to devote towards those kind of efforts. So we've kind of, from the start to finish, I guess the thing is how do we pair some of those things together so that we're not doing more programmatic content than what is needed. So that's probably the one learning curve or thing that's changed since we first started, is making sure that we're kind of putting those programs together so that it has more impact for the people that we're serving.
Yeah. So I'm curious, with these leadership roundtables and the entrepreneurship trainings, are these being done in person? Are they virtually? Are they a hybrid of sorts? Or what have you learned as you do these trainings or roundtables?
Yeah, we're kind of flexible on how we operate because essentially what we've been doing is we're partnering with different entities and organizations. So a lot of the times it is in person. A lot of times it's virtual, and a lot of times it's hybrid. So we do a good, healthy mix of all of those things. We're just trying to make sure that it's as accessible as possible for the people that need it. And sometimes you want to have those intimate discussions where they're kind of private and together here on site at a chamber or at a different location. And sometimes it makes more sense to do it virtually to actually execute on that work. So it's a variety of different ways that we go about doing it.
Yeah, I could see people attending, when it's maybe they prefer in person, or maybe their schedule only allows for the virtual, just maybe where they're located or what their schedule looks like. So being able to have that flexibility, I think is great. It's great that you guys offer that. Is there anything else about Upscale Chino Valley that is worth mentioning or that we need to know about before we move on to your other program?
Well, I'll just share that we put together an economic or an impact report every year. So we kind of we keep all the data, we keep all the information about all the stuff that we've accomplished for it. And so, we basically got a little bit over $1 million of funds to start and execute these programs. And the economic impact that we've provided is substantially larger when you factor in the more than 500 people that have gotten jobs with local businesses here locally, the growth of the businesses that we've been able to facilitate, some of the resources and programs we've directly also given or connected our businesses with has been substantial. And so that's kind of the thing that I like to harp on is this was a vision, as a plan. We didn't know exactly where it's going to go, but as we've executed on it, it's paid off way more than what was invested in us in the first place.
Yeah. So is that funding long term? Is there do you readdress it each year to go back for the funding, or how's that
No,
structured?
it's kind of a 1 year allocation. So, I mean, I shouldn't say that. It was given to us with a 3 year window. Actually, when we wrote the proposal, because I had never done this before,
Yeah.
we wrote it for 7 years. So it was supposed to be for 7 years is what we planned it out. And then once we went through the whole process, and I was under the impression that this was good to go and ready, but that wasn't the case. It wasn't until we actually got the check in the bank account and stuff. So, and then so they did give us that contract and they said, oh, it's not 7 years, it's 3 years. So we had to expend all of those things in 3 years. And so that's what we've been working on and doing it. And our goal is to kind of create these sustainable programs. All of the stuff that we're doing is getting invested by our community or businesses or community leaders to help make these things happen. So that's what we're counting on. And I think that's we're well on our way to make that happen.
Awesome. Sounds great. So the other program that you guys submitted, CVCC, Future Ready. As first of all, I'm guessing CV stands for Chino Valley, but tell us what it is and what the whole program's about.
Yeah, so we're calling this CVCC Future Ready. As a result of that upskilled Chino Valley program, one of our goals is to create sustainability with this. And so we've developed lots of partnerships along the way. And one of those partnerships was Chaffey College. So they're our local community college, but also with our local school districts, some of our private schools that are here locally. And so essentially these are youth programs, very similar to the upskilled Chino Valley work in that we're connecting local students with businesses and real world opportunities. So the way that this kind of lays out is we're doing it with internships. We're doing it with career days. We're partnering with Chaffey College to develop roundtables so that they have access to experts like business insiders and experts at their community college. And so basically I'm kind of relating as anything that we do. Oh, a couple other things we do on that front is we do an entrepreneurship fair for junior high and under. So these are elementary and junior high school students. We do it twice a year and we have about 300 kids that participate in this thing. They set up their kids booths. They sell their products and services, in our downtown area. Another thing we do is a pitch competition. So we do a high school, a Shark Tank pitch competition for high school students. So they pitch their entrepreneur ideas and we give out some funds for them to either, pursue college or pursue their idea. And that's a kind of a culmination of everything they're doing. So the short answer is CVCC Future Ready is connecting our local students with real world opportunities in our business community.
I love that, starting early with elementary and middle school with these entrepreneur fairs. And the creativity that these kids will have with things, to solve problems. I remember when my son was little, he was elementary school age, and he had this vision for creating this cancer curing pill, that would have robots, like nano robots that would go. And it's like, it seems far fetched as a kid. And now you see the development of technologies and like, man, he wasn't too far off. So how do you guys get in there with the schools and make this happen with elementary and middle school to get them on board, create the vision? How's that communicated? How's that developed at the schools?
So it's different for each one, and we have different relationships with each one. So it's kind of like a culmination of relationships. One of the ladies that we brought on board, her name is Nicole Tabatabai. So she's kind of our youth program director. So she does facilitate a lot of those relationships. And that was a challenge. When I started, I have a lot of high school students that would come to the chamber and say, hey, I'm looking for an internship or I'm looking for a thing. And I was like, that's great. I'm happy to help you. And I was excited about helping them. And I'd connect them with our local businesses. And then what would happen is that cycle would kind of get buried every single time there's a new semester. We'd kind of have to start all over from scratch. And so by having somebody on staff that manages that relationship and making sure that there's a steady cycle of interns, but also opportunities connecting businesses with others, that's kind of what I feel like is needed for, especially today, where the world is changing at such a fast pace with AI and social media and the ability to communicate with each other so quickly. And the world of work is going to change so much more quickly that there needs to be a much stronger tie between businesses and our educational institutions. But the challenge is our businesses are way too busy, as are educational institutions. And so there's no way, I think the way that the current structure looks when I'm looking at from the outside in is that they're trying to do it on their own, where the educational institutions are like begging the businesses to participate into it versus coming to us who can play that kind of middle road saying, we can speak on behalf of business number one, but we can also connect you with businesses because we're trying to solve their issues holistically and not just in that one case. So that's one of the things I'm trying to get more awareness for, I guess, in our chamber industry, building that relationship between education and local businesses.
Yeah. And I've often seen that communication going the other way too, from the businesses, trying to get the attention of the educators saying, we need employees that have these skill sets. Please teach them to this. And to your point with the changing workforce environment, things are developing very quickly with things like AI. And when you've got a school and education system that has curriculum that has to get approved, and there's all these steps for things to happen, and things are moving so quickly that if we can get some of these kids into the workforce as an intern to learn firsthand and see, is this something that I enjoy doing, and then dive in deeper to learn about that profession, I think is the key to be that matchmaker. And it sounds like you guys are doing that well. Is there anything else as far as the internships or even just in general with the CVCC Future Ready highlights or things that have stood out to you, maybe from the career fairs or the round tables you guys do?
Well, I think probably the most, we have lots of really good success stories. So, hearing from kids about how they got to sell out of their products at those career fairs. When we do those round tables, I think typically when so the colleges or the community colleges will have to do these roundtables in order to approve their curriculum or to say that they're taking his advice from these councils. And normally they'll get a handful of people that will participate, if that. So whenever we do a roundtable, we have a healthy group of people that are showing up to those roundtables, depending on the industry. So we did a manufacturing roundtable not that long ago, where maybe they would get a couple of people that would show up. We had like 30 manufacturers that were present for that. So that's a success story. We have a lot of the interns that have participated in it that are just talking about how that experience has set them up for their future careers. So that's been exciting. The last thing is because of the work that we're doing at Chaffey College and also with the U.S. Chamber, we've gone through the talent pipeline management program through the U.S. Chamber. So I've been trying to pitch that to our community, and it hasn't, it's slowly gaining traction, but it's one of those things you have to do a lot of seed planting and chat with different folks over time. So I think we're going to get started implementing that this year. So that's a whole nother level that we're going to try to take our programming to here at the Chino Valley Chamber.
Very cool. So I have to ask, with these entrepreneur fairs and the pitch competitions you have, what are maybe a couple of the most creative ideas that you've seen these kids present or sell?
So I'll just tell you, so a lot of kids are doing like the 3D printing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of 3D printing products and stuff that they'll share. I did buy, I don't think I have it anymore, but I did buy artwork, so a little fourth grader was putting together artwork, and she was displaying all of her artwork, and it was adorable. So I know I have, and I've got it somewhere. I used to be right here, but it's not there anymore. And then what else? I think what I see a lot of other folks, they're kind of taking a product that they were like reselling products basically. But that still requires a lot of ingenuity just to be able to identify those, to bring them to the space and do it. There was one, my son took a video to hold a snake. So they were holding on to a snake at the fair.
Okay.
And to have a snake around his neck. And there's one kid who I think has built a pretty successful business already. He sells candles, like homemade candles.
Yeah.
So he's been doing that since the first one that we started, and he's gotten some recognition here locally. And so I think he's done really pretty well for himself so far, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's cool. I love hearing those stories and even those that are reselling products. I mean, hopefully these kids are learning how to do the market research and see what products sell and what's worth investing into to resell. And there's a lot of value in doing that. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to ask, especially as a Chamber of the Year finalist, for listeners who are wanting to take their organization up to the next level, what kind of tip or action item would you share for those listening to try to accomplish that goal?
I think one of the things, so I'm on the Western Association of Chamber Executives board. So I've been doing that for a couple of years, and just prior to serving on the board, just like being involved in the industry in general. And I get the sense that there's a lot of people that I always treat this like as a business, but not just a business, but like the leaders of our business or business community. So when you say that, it means like being compensated that way. It means growing in that way. It means thinking in that way. And I think when I have some chats with like we're providing a service for a value, and we should receive that value for the services that we're providing. And I think a lot of chamber executives are uncomfortable doing that. I think, and I don't know if it's just kind of like we all want to be of service and help support and just do good things for people. But I think treating it like a business is the number one thing. And then number two is I feel like setting goals for your organization that kind of hit on those metrics where you're trying to grow revenue and grow your organization and grow your business. So when I started, I implemented, this goal setting program that I think has worked really well for a chamber to help it move in a positive direction. So if there's a book called Measure What Matters, which is the guys at Google, how they did their goal setting for their organization. And so I've implemented that every year, and we've kind of gone through that flow, and it's a lot. Our chamber has grown every single year since I started, and I don't anticipate it slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah. So aside from winning the title of Chamber of the Year, what's a big goal that the Chino Valley Chamber is working towards right now?
Well, right now we got some funding approved by our congresswoman to build an entrepreneurship center in our community.
Very cool.
It was federally funded, so it was going through the whole process. It was good. So when the change of administration happened, that kind of got put on hold. So we're not sure if that's coming through or not. We think it will, but we're still not positive. We had to resubmit everything. So everything's been resubmitted. It's going through the process again. They seem likely that it'll go through, but that is something that we're working on. Is we're operating out of a space. It's like an old schoolhouse building. So we have 8 people in this open air space. There isn't any room for meetings or that kind of thing on site anyways. And so that would really be something that I think would level up our chamber, is having the ability to have, space for our team, but then also space to bring in our members in the community to promote their business and promote entrepreneurship and grow our business community.
Yeah. So I like asking, as we look to the future of chambers of commerce, how do you see the future of chambers and their purpose going forward?
Well, I do really like reading like that Horizons report. I think is very insightful. I think when we went through the process last year and kind of applying, that was kind of when I was exposed to it for the first time. And it was 10 years. It was made 10 years ago for the time that we were at last year. And I mean, it was pretty spot on. And I get the sense that it's pretty spot on. I think the one thing is AI is going to be huge for every industry, not just chamber industry. So I would encourage folks, get acclimated and adopted to AI just because it makes everything so much more efficient and you can accomplish things so much more quickly, but it has a variety of other usages to it. So that's going to change the world for every industry. I think in the chamber space, I do see a lot of opportunities connecting our educational institutions with our businesses and being the mediator between those two. I think our businesses are so busy, our educational institutions don't have the resources to do it. And so there needs to be somebody to fill that void between the two. And like whenever we are asked to do that outreach to businesses, we can bring a whole bunch of people. And it's because we're not just serving them for one thing, we're serving them for everything. And then I think our educational institutions or government or some way is being able to support that effort, because it's going to be critical as we move forward in our professional careers.
Yeah, I would agree. I like that, and especially the focus with AI and just recognizing it will affect every industry. And I think as chamber leaders, being able to understand some of the applications and know how you can best help the businesses in your community to adopt AI and to really lean into it to help with some of those workforce shortages and to make things more efficient and cost efficient and all the things that you touched on. But that is the chamber's role, to be that connector with the education and the employers to bridge those gaps and be that convener. So I appreciate that. Well, Zeb, I wanted to give you a chance to share any contact information for listeners who may want to reach out and connect with you and learn how you guys are doing things there in Chino Valley, or even learn more about the programs you guys submitted. What would be the best way for someone to reach out and connect with you?
Yeah, so my name's really easy to find. I'm on all the socials. It's Zeb Welborn, so ZEB. It's my first name. Welborn's my last name, WELBORN. I am on all the social channels, so you can feel free to reach out to me in one of those spots. If you want to reach out via email, my chamber email is zwelborn@chinovalleychamber.com. And then our website is chinovalleychamber.com, and you can follow us there and on all of our socials.
All right. I'll get that in our show notes, and with your socials, I'll at least tag your LinkedIn in there, so make it easy to find and connect with you. But Zeb, this has been great having you back on the show and highlighting these programs you guys submitted, and it looks like you guys are making a real difference there in the Chino Valley community. And I wish you and your team best of luck as 2025 Chamber of the Year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon. Appreciate it.
If you are a chamber professional, please subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. When you subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast, new episodes will show up in your podcast app each week as they are released. If you're finding value in this podcast, please leave us a rating and a review in iTunes. But most importantly, please share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues that are in the industry.